Go.
Welcome to the most must-listen to show on the internet. Welcome to AEG. I'm your host, JB, and with me I have Dalton.
What's up, everybody?
I have Goose.
He's fat!
Hey, everybody.
I have Storm.
Hey, everyone.
And joining us is my good friend, Evan.
Hey, y'all.
So, Dalton, did you title this show "End of the World"? Is that what you set it up as on YouTube?
That's kind of what I went with.
Okay.
I figured we get together twice in 1 year. Something's got to be happening, right?
It's the apocalypse right now.
Yeah.
But we got a few things that we wanted to kind of touch base. It's been like 3-ish months. December? Was it December?
It was supposed to be December. I don't think we got to it until January, though.
Anyway, we did a podcast not that long ago, but there's been some new things that we wanted to talk about. Firstly, let's I'm gonna switch it up on you on the fly, guys. Sorry about this. What have y'all been playing recently?
We're digging into this.
I want to warm up with what we've been playing. I think it's a good thing to jump off of.
He threw a curveball.
No, I'm sorry.
Not sticking to the fucking script, Jeff.
So are we going to get right into it and talk about Shadows, or are we going to...
I mean, 4 of us in this room have played Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Wait, let's pump the brakes. If you guys are okay with it, I'll talk about reading The Hobbit.
Yeah, let's... Actually, you know what? I want to hear about The Hobbit, which is, oddly enough, Evan's nickname.
So, I've said this before. I think I said it before on our last show. I was inspired by Storm, who read, I think it was over 100 books, or 100 books exactly last year. And 101. And Storm, very, very much so, especially considering the fact that he's got 2 little ones. So I'm like, all right, here I am. I don't have any of those responsibilities, and I haven't read a book in years. Now, I read every day, right? I'll read articles, I'll read stuff online, right? But to sit down and read a book, I haven't done that in a very long time. But anyway, I say all that to say this. I've been reading at a relatively slow pace in relation to Storm. And I finally read The Hobbit. I've never read it before. I'm familiar with The Lord of the Rings, but I wanted to start with The Hobbit. So I started reading The Hobbit, and I used ChatGPT as a guide of sorts. The English is archaic. It's so old, to say the least. I think I gave a couple of examples on the chat on the chat that we have on Discord, in which I said something like, I think Tolkien uses this line where he's like, line and post, when all he needed to write was, they can't find the doorway. And I needed to look that up on ChatGPT because it just wasn't making any sense. I finally got through it. It took me a while. It took about 3 weeks to get through it. I think I read like a chapter a day. I think there were like 3 days that I went without reading. But the reading experience was fun. Tolkien is very, very detailed. He's very ornate in his writing. At least for me, it was very dense. Some words I didn't understand, so I had to look them up in the dictionary in order to have context. It made me feel very stupid reading this book.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's one of those writers. I feel too that he's very like extra descriptive. Like I know Evan and I, we were just kind of talking about this the other day of like, an author when he writes a book and tries to describe like a tree or something like that, and he spends like 3 pages describing a single tree. I don't know. It's not my type of writing style that I enjoy, but I'm very happy that you got through it.
I did, and whenever I do wrap up Shadows, which will probably take me a long while, I am looking forward to delve into the trilogy proper. So that's something that I'll be reading next. The Fellowship of the Ring. I enjoyed the narrative. I haven't seen the Hobbit films. So I went in completely blind. It's basically a story about Bilbo Baggins and how he's basically a nobody over at I think it's still the Shire, and it's really like a coming of age story for Bilbo Baggins. But it was enjoyable. I liked it. I thought Smaug I thought he was going to be like a major character, but he really wasn't. The name of the book is The Hobbit, so it's mainly about Bilbo and the dwarves. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. If you guys have any questions or any comments regarding the book, you're more than welcome to ask, and or if not, we can just go straight into Shadows. But I don't want to bore you. I don't want to bore you guys.
No, you're good.
I mean, from everything I've talked to, because my wife reads a lot. You did it the right way. She's like, if you watch the movie and then read the book, you're just gonna be angry because you're gonna be like, why'd they miss this? Why'd they leave this out? Why isn't this there? So, at least I'm glad you liked it. I've heard it's a fantastic book.
What I will say about the book is that I feel that a second read would be necessary to enjoy it more. And I know that's like a big ask. Like, hey, you got to read this book twice to really get it. But I think when it comes to at least this one, I think I would get more out of it if I read it a second time, because I would be familiar with the writing style, which I wasn't going into it.
Well, transitioning into video games, I feel like reading a book a second time is a lot like your second playthrough on a video game. We've probably all played Skyrim, and I know that when I've played Skyrim the first time, I went through and you did stuff, and you go through the second time, and you're like, why didn't I notice that? Why didn't I notice this? Or why didn't I get this armor the first time?
Yeah.
Same concept with reading.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair point.
Dude, I played
I
it
have
like 1,000 times, I think.
Yeah. And honestly, I always like start out like I'm gonna sit down and play Skyrim, and I'm gonna play it like with all magic or something like that, like a way I've never like played it before, and it always just ends up being yeah, okay, that's cool, but I'm gonna use my bow to snipe motherfuckers. Like that's that's what it usually turns into for me.
Which remake of Skyrim?
Yeah, right.
All of them?
That too. Yes, yes to the answer is just
PC,
yes.
I'll be the
PlayStation,
contrarian here and
Xbox?
say I've
What?
actually never beaten Skyrim.
Wow.
Wow.
I've never played it. I'll top him. I've never played it.
Are you
Okay.
serious?
Really?
I do. Yeah, I own it. I do own it. If that wins me any brownie points, but
I was
I've
gonna say
never
you
played
own many games that you've never played, so
This is true. In my defense, I think the last time that we were all together, I did speak about playing Fallout 3 and finishing it for the first
that's
time.
true. That is
in
a good
20
point.
in
I guess that makes
2024.
sense now. Yeah, I guess it makes sense
Really?
now that why you haven't finished why haven't played Skyrim is you never even finished Fallout 3. So
That's fair. Great game, though.
it is.
It was no, I loved it. I finished it in 2024. I finished it last year, but yeah, it was a great, amazing.
Hell yeah. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I said, I think Storm and I, before the podcast started, we discussed, and we're about in the same spot. Couple of hours in, right through the prologue, didn't get super deep into it, but I know both Dalton and Goose, you guys have been playing it pretty extensively over the last couple of days. What are your thoughts? How are we feeling about it?
Fucking sucks. Ubisoft is terrible.
Can't hear you, Dalton. There it
Can't
is.
hear me? Oh.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you, but
Oh.
I also couldn't hear Goose, but I think he was coughing.
Oh. No, it's terrible. I fucking hate
Sorry, my cat is being an asshole. Get down.
it. There goes
I
our
was
host,
not-
everyone.
Yeah.
Nice pants, Jeff.
Hey, thanks, man. I gotta be comfortable.
Brought up the special pants.
I don't care.
That's
Definitely an
all right.
office Zoom meeting.
First thing I did when I got home was put on comfy pants. You
Dude,
know.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Isn't that what home's for?
Yes.
Well-
Business up top. Casual down below.
So a mullet. Okay.
Yes, the mullet of outfits. That's what I'm wearing right now. But no, so Assassin's Creed's terrible. Wow, it's amazing that you put so much time into it. Then.
Yeah, typical Ubisoft garbage. Is that what we're supposed to say? We're supposed to just trash it, right?
I mean,
It's
if
Ubisoft.
I would say if you're on Reddit, that's
Yeah.
pretty much the
Or
consensus.
pretty much any like big like YouTube reviewer and shit. But no, I love it. I think it's awesome. I've said it like 1,000 times in the chat. I know that the same team that worked on Odyssey worked on this one, but you definitely feel that. You know what I mean? Throughout the whole game, I
would say even just the couple hours I've played, you get that
yeah.
that vibe. I can't.
It's
It's hard to describe. Yeah,
It's
but-
like Odyssey with updated gameplay and in Japan. Odyssey in Japan. It's fucking perfect. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's not perfect, but it's really good. I think I've got 15 hours in already. I just can't stop playing it.
I like the emphasis on stealth. I think
Yeah.
that the fact that, I mean, that's where Assassin's Creed's kind of roots are. So the fact that they've really, like, yeah, I know they have. So Naoe's the stealthy one. Yasuke
Mm.
is the heavy hitter. So the heavy hitter, like, it's so weird. Like, even the 3 hours that I've played maybe like 10 minutes of Yasuke, and then the rest is. And I know, like I said, I think they said the first pretty much act is almost all Naoe.
It is, yeah.
But I really like the emphasis on stealth and how you basically feel like a panther kind of stalking. Like she can even go prone to crawl through the weeds and stuff like that. Like it's just little touches like that for a fan of, I don't have patience in most things except stealth video games for some reason. So
Nope, you lost
it
me.
really is hitting my sweet spot. So
You lost me on stealth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I normally am too. Like I fucking hate stealth. I'm never about it, but in this game I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
Oh man, I think I found something we're at odds with, Dalton.
What's
I
that?
I love stealth games. Like
So do I.
Dishonored. Dishonored is one of like my favorite games of all time.
I'm sure it's great, but I just got shit to do, man. I got other shit that I want to get to.
That's
Yeah.
fair, but
I don't want to fuck
Yeah,
around in the grass for 20 minutes.
I like planning my moves and getting through a whole level without being seen by anybody. And in that regard, Shadows is scratching an itch for me. 'cause
Oh,
you
it's
can-
great, right?
same.
Can
But
make that
it's-
approach.
I'll give my 2 cents here. So I'm playing on PlayStation 5 Pro, and I want to say that as an early adopter, as I usually am, I usually pay the price in terms of actual money, but also in terms of being an early adopter. And I think this is probably the second game that graphically I'm like, oh, it was worth it. The PS5 Pro is worth it because of how good this game looks. I want to give a real quick shout out to the Callisto Protocol, which was like the first real showpiece, at least for me, on PlayStation 5 Pro. And I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is that second game. It looks beautiful
It really does.
on PS5 Pro. I know Dalton's like he's got those great pixels. He's playing the game at 34K or upscaled 4K.
Yeah.
I'm playing it at 40, just 30 for me. I did the comparison where I played it for a little bit at 60, then at 40, then at 30, and you get the best image quality at 30. But I think, at least for me personally, that 40 sweet spot just hits. I think the game's incredible. I'm saying a lot, so that sucks. But what I want to get to,
He's nervous.
I am a little bit, but what I really want to get to is that if Dalton started off by saying, it sucks, it stinks, isn't that what I'm supposed to say about Ubisoft games? And in a way, he's actually right. I spoke to my best friend Justin actually maybe half an hour ago or 1 hour ago, and he was like, "What do you think about the game?" And I said, "If you didn't like Origins, if you didn't like Odyssey, if you didn't like Valhalla, which I know you didn't because you're an OG ass Creed guy, you're not gonna like this game. So I don't get it."
I can agree with that.
It's the exact same Ubisoft formula. It's a list. It's a litany of things that you got to go through, towns you got to discover, question marks on the map. It's the old, true and tried Ubi formula. And if you don't like it, then this game is not for you. On the other hand, if you love it, if you love those type of games, then this is it. It's like a pig in shit. You're just gonna fucking love it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, I can't say anything. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game since, let's think, Black Flag?
That's a good
Which,
one.
I mean, Black Flag was phenomenal. So I mean, it's
But it's I don't like stealth games. Like, you guys have all been playing Assassin's Creed, which I figured for the most part from the group we have here, as Jeff has talked about. I have, however, been dumping as much physical time as I can into Monster Hunter Wilds.
I played a little bit of that.
Because make explosions, do big numbers of damage, wear their skin as a suit of armor, and go, haha, I killed your brother.
yeah.
So
Hit thing with stick.
to bring it to try to meld it together and segue back and forth between both games. You said that you're not a big fan of stealth games. That you're more of a let's say a brawler in your face type of guy. Would that be a correct assumption?
That's a correct assumption.
I think that if you would be willing to give Assassin's Creed about 12, 15 hours of your time, which you probably don't have, but if just bear with me here, if you would be willing to give it that time, the game opens up, and then you're able to play as that Smasher, that Brawler, and Yasuke. And one of the things the game does really well at the onset at the beginning, it has some sort of tutorial mode where they give you a mission in which you play as Yasuke, and then they give you a mission as in which you play as is it Naue?
I think it's Naue is how you pronounce it. Yeah.
Or are those both the main characters? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Naue's the girl. Yasuke's the guy.
Okay.
And then once the game opens up again, it kind of sucks that you have to invest 12, 15 hours to finally get to where you want to get at. You'll be able to play as Yasuke indefinitely, with the exception of a few story missions that require you to play as Naue. So if that's something that is of interest to you, I highly recommend it. Not that I've gotten there, but through the reviews on YouTube, I know that the game opens up.
Yeah, and
I mean that makes sense.
And he is a tank. I mean, Yasuke is a tank. And I'll bring up some of the differences. I'll try to contrast the two characters. So, for example, when you kill someone as Naue, I'm very OCD. I just want to bring this up real quick. One of the things that Storm mentioned was, hey, like, he didn't say this, but this is what he said. I get off on the planning. I get off on just like the cerebral assassin looking at the forest instead of the tree type of deal. That's right. I get off on those things too. So when I kill someone as Naue, I have to hide the body. It's just an OCD. Even if it's like in the middle of the woods and nobody's going to see it, I still have to hide that body because I know it's out there. And when you carry someone as Naue, she's just like she's like a slug. She's so slow, as opposed to Yasuke, who'll just like he'll pick it up, you'll feel that oomph, and he'll just throw the body or whatever. That's so like those little details like that. I'm like, that's what makes the game, at least for me.
Not to segue off of that, but that's what I was doing in Kingdom Come Deliverance too, because there's actual consequences for like people finding shit like that. And it's fucking great. But yeah,
even if it's been like hours of gameplay.
Yeah, they'll find the body and then they'll all be pissed at you.
That's crazy.
That's like my favorite part though. Is I want them to find it. I want them to know that I did it because that means I have more targets. Yeah. That's all that equivalates to is, okay, cool. Now your turn.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I think you'll like Yasuke then because you can just go in there and you can start fucking mowing them down.
Okay, so note to self, if I do decide to play the game, or when Jeff inevitably talks me into trying it, because that's probably how it's going to work out.
Usually how it goes, yeah.
Try Yasuke and just bludgeon everything to death. Deal.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I think even one of his weapons is literally like a two-handed, like it's like a cylindrical like mace, isn't it? Isn't that one of his weapons that you can get?
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
All right,
I can't remember what it's called. Like I know there's like some Japanese term for it, but I can't remember what it is.
That sounds fun.
It is.
But yeah, so Evan, you said you've been playing Monster Hunter. I know you and I have played a good chunk of Monster Hunter. Where are you at in it now?
I just killed Fulgur and Janath.
Okay. Okay, so you're okay. I know where you're at.
I'm in high rank now. I put a little extra work in the other day. I went from level 8 to like level 26.
Gotcha.
So,
gotcha.
Because once you unlock stuff.
Did you play Monster Hunter? Is it World? The one prior to it?
I did.
What are some of the improvements in? Sorry, what's this new one? What's the name of the new?
Wild.
What are some of the improvements that are in Wild in relation to World?
So some of my favorite stuff is instead of having to find mounts, you already have a mount. So it helps you, and you can change it if you're somebody who's new to the game. Let's say you've never played a game. And you're not big on knowing how to track down the monsters, let's say, because they'll leave snot or fur or claw marks. You can actually go in and make your secret, is what they're called, which for you guys who are PlayStation fans, looks like a chocobo.
I literally changed the colors on mine to make it be a chocobo.
But you can actually set it up to where it runs and it follows the monster for you, so you just have to hit a button and it'll take you the path that the monster went, so you can collect all the stuff still to show you what to collect. But instead of having to try to find the route to go up here, to go over here, to go left and right, it'll take you there for you, so you can see the layout of that part of the map. I also like that they put in a dual weapon system now. So normally I run Charge Blade because explosions. Right now I'm doing Gun Lance because also explosions. But now I can have my gun lance, and then I picked up a Kinsect glaive just because you do flips and stuff and it looks cool. But you can switch back and forth between the weapons now. So if you're facing a monster that is more mobile and you don't want to try and swing a big axe at it, you have the ability to go for, like, if Jeff was going to run dual blades, you could swap back and forth to it to make yourself adapt to that monster. It's done a lot of just
Say, like, quality of life improvements.
quality of life, creature comforts to it. Where the only thing, my big angry part about it though is they took out the Meowster chef, so I don't get to watch a cat cook all my meals now. It's a little depressing. I have to cook them myself. How dare them? But
Also, I'm pretty sure whatever the creator, I don't know the actual creators of the game, but they really love food. So, like, the food, like, the detail on the food is probably, like, the best. It's almost realistic. Like, it's almost real. It looks like real life. It's crazy.
It's like food porn. There's food porn
it is
in Monster Hunter
literally food
Wilds.
porn. Yes.
Yeah, and then,
100%.
like, it's so, like, different things will make. If you ever played, like, let's say Breath of the Wild, how if you put 3 apples together, it makes apple mush, but if you put 3 apples and something else together, it makes a pretty plate.
Yeah.
The different stuff you make also changes the stat boosts you get. So certain things will boost your defense or stamina and health depending on what you put together.
So
then-
this cooking aspect of the game seems like a very integral part of the game.
Mhm.
It
Do
is.
you cook before going on a hunt?
Yes, yeah. So you cook before a hunt, and most of your meals are 30 to 60 minutes because your average fight can be, I think, max is 45 minutes before you
I think
time
it's
out,
45 minutes is the cutoff, I believe.
or 3 faints. If you faint 3 times, the mission, the hunt's
That's a
over.
hard cutoff. That 45 minutes. That's a hard cutoff.
Mhm.
Yeah, 45 minutes, it's done. It just says you failed. Get better.
Oh, I had no idea that you were under a timer. Wow.
Yeah.
But honestly, unless you are really struggling with something, it doesn't take maybe, like, I think the longest fight I had was like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was against like one of the bigger monsters in the game.
That, and I like the new link system that they put in, where you used to have to be, like, in the same lobby as a person to be able to join them, but now, like, let's say if we were all friends in Monster Hunter, and let's say Gus is fighting something and he's having an issue, if he hits SOS and we're all in a linked party with him, and even though we're not in the same lobby, it'll pop up, hey, your friend needs help, so we can all join that fight.
Yeah, and you literally just hold down a button and you join with him.
Oh, that's
So-
really cool.
So then, like, if you were there, like, because you can only have 4 at a fight at a time, but so then 3 of us could just instantaneously drop into your fight and be like, okay, cool. And then you can also, it depends on the level of the person, because I've got friends that are level 170, 180 already. So they'll ask me before a fight, if they're coming in, hey, do we want to just mollywop this thing into submission, or do you want to actually have a fight?
And you're playing on Xbox. Is there crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation
There's
/PC?
crossplay. Yeah,
Yep.
there's crossplay between all of them, which is awesome. I wish, all games were that.
It's
To
good.
be
It's
honest,
getting pretty. It's
Yeah,
getting
it's
pretty
getting
close. That almost.
You have to
getting
think of the
close.
children. We have to think of the children first. We have to think of the children.
Listen,
All
the
right, calm
children
down.
look. The children can play Gears of War and watch somebody get their head blown off with a Nasher just as good as anybody else can.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. These fucking Xbox kids, man. They're the problem.
Yeah, they are the problem. Damn.
Yeah, we are the problem, and that's okay.
yeah, we are.
Somebody's got to do it.
So, other than Assassin's Creed and Monster Hunter, what else have we been playing? I know, Storm, you've been working on a couple platinums, or achieved a couple platinums recently. Yeah.
Yeah. So the last 2 platinums I got, I finished out The Last of Us Part 1 last night. And
Congrats, sir.
I picked up and played in its entirety Slay the Princess a few weeks ago, which is kind of more a visual novel type of game. I've never played one of those before, but
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was when you talked about it in the Discord.
All right, timeout. Platinum, is that like 100% on a PlayStation?
all
Yes.
the trophies, yeah.
Okay.
The achievements, like a
Yeah,
thousand.
so
out of
like
1,000.
achievements / trophies. It's getting all the trophies in a PlayStation game.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that
Yeah,
I was
we're addicts in here.
Hey, man.
I'm probably the lowest of all of us, but I mean I still have almost 30. So
Yeah.
I understand. I don't do the platinum chase. I do the gamer score chase.
Oh, you do?
Xbox doesn't. Oh, Xbox doesn't have
The
we don't
cherry on
have
top.
trophies. We have the cool ding, and we have points.
Oh, hell yeah.
So for each achievement is worth a set number of points, and the rarer the achievement, the more points it is.
Okay.
right.
That's like
And
a
now
whole
they have
topic.
like the rare little like diamond one that pops up, and it's like a new sound that
Mhm.
wasn't until I think the Series S and X that they did.
No,
Yeah.
Xbox One. Xbox
It
One.
was Xbox One.
Xbox
Yeah,
Okay.
Xbox One did it. Yeah.
The
Diamond.
The rare achievements.
second or
Mhm.
third update on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
But yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate though. Like there isn't an Xbox equivalent of a platinum trophy, because like what's cool with platinums is like you get all the trophies and then it unlocks the platinum.
And then you don't
Where
need the
like
fucking
you get all the
DLC.
achievements, and like if the last achievement you get is like a 5-point achievement, it's just like, okay, cool, I got the 5 points. That's it. Like
So second question, for PlayStation users, because I have one, but I haven't turned it on in a while. If like you guys go into each other's profiles, does it have like you guys battling for who's got what achievement?
Oh, there's no like
You
on
can-
Xbox how there's like a ranking system, like whoever.
Yeah, so if I go on
Leaderboard.
Xbox and I click on Jeff, it'll tell me in each game we have who's kicking whose ass.
Yeah, there is like there is a comparison thing on PlayStation, but they don't have the leaderboard like they do on Xbox.
I wish they
Okay.
did though. That would be awesome.
So like who got the most achievements that month or whatever that you guys have on Xbox, there isn't that on PlayStation, but there is a compare trophies thing on PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like if you were both playing, like how you're all playing Shadows, it would show that you have, let's say you platinum it, and it would show that
It would
you
show Jeff
platinum
at, like,
all of it.
like whatever he's got, like whatever his percentage is at the time.
Yeah, with like the newest PlayStation update, on like the main menu, like the I think it's like the hub screen. I can't remember what it's called, but like when you guys earn platinums, it'll say like Storm earned a platinum and blah blah blah, or Dalton earned a platinum and blah blah blah, and so it's like you
Okay.
can tell, and then you can go into like I can go to Dalton's profile, and it's like Dalton has 40-something% of Assassin's Creed trophies, and I have like 10% of Assassin's Creed trophies, and
So then
it shows
feel
like
bad.
which ones you get. Yeah, then I feel awful because I haven't had a chance to play. No.
I'll say that Storm's name has been up there often in terms of
Yeah,
getting those
it really
platinums.
has.
It has been really impressive.
He's coming for us,
Well-
dude. He's coming for us.
He is, man.
So
I'm trying.
Storm,
time
what
is over.
yeah, right. What the Slay the Princess, what is that about? I'm genuinely curious.
What is it about? Well, it's kind of a hard thing to explain without giving it away.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah, I mean, if you have any interest in a visual novel that the gameplay loop is going through dialogue and exploring your options for how to
Okay.
address the situation, like it's
mean,
something else.
Those games do kind of speak to me, so I do like the narrative, like the Telltale-esque. I know it honestly sounds like there's less actual gameplay than a Telltale game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's all dialogue in 3 scenes that the scenes change, and I'm not going to explain to you how they change.
Okay.
But
Was it cheap? Did you buy it on sale or?
it just came to PlayStation, so it wasn't what I would call cheap, but I got it on sale for like, was it $14.99 maybe?
Oh, that's not bad.
But yeah, it was worth every penny. It made me do possibly the most brutal thing I've ever done in a video game to get a platinum.
Well, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's that's all I'm going to say about that. If you have an inclination to play it, anybody who doesn't have any inclination to play it but wants to hear about it, I will talk about that. Also.
Yeah, because I honestly don't want you to spoil it for me because that sounds super interesting to me.
Yeah,
I do
Sounds
have a
right up my
question.
alley.
I do have a question. What was like the impetus behind you wanting to play that? Because when you mentioned it, and usually when you say, "Hey, I'm playing this," I'll look it out on YouTube. And thanks for that because of that, I played through Grease and Neva, which I absolutely loved. And then you said, "Hey, look, I'm playing Slay the Spire. I'm gonna get the platinum trophy on it." And I looked it up, and I'm like, "Oh wait, he's playing this." And I'm like, "Oh, this is not expected. This is different."
Yeah, so the narrator of the game, who is with you through most of it, is voiced by a podcaster, Jonathan Sims, who did the Magnus Archives, which is a fiction podcast, kind of a little X-Filesy that I listened to last year after reading one of the Bungie developers, when they did that the mission aboard the derelict ship, somebody cited the Magnus Archives as an inspiration for that mission. So I was like, I'm going to give this podcast a try. And then I listened to the entire podcast in the span of about 3 weeks. And it's very long. But I saw he was the narrator for this, and I was like, I really like that podcast. I want to see what this is about. And then another guy who I follow on Blue Sky posted that he'd just played it, and I was like, you know what? This is the time. I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it. And I did, and I'm glad I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. This is organic because of Destiny. Then this, then this, then this, then platinum.
Yeah, I just added it to my wish list on PlayStation. It is if anybody was interested, it is $17.99 full price. It's the pristine cut, is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I added it to my wish list. That's definitely something I might pick up down the road.
Fuck
That
yeah.
is
sounds
way better
interesting
than
to me.
$80 for most of these
Right?
games.
Yeah, I'll take $18 for a game any day of the week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I know Dalton, I think you platinumed it as well. And Goose, did you platinum Grease? Both of you did, or all three of you did? Used
Yeah.
to Storm.
Mhm.
Okay.
I did Grease. Yeah.
Yeah, so did I.
How was it? Like what type of game is it? I guess.
I think it's an art piece.
An art piece. Okay.
That's how I would describe it. I wouldn't call it a difficult game by any stretch, and I imagine you guys would agree with that. But it's emotional without words.
Yeah, that's definitely the way to play it. I just finished it like last week?
It was not long ago. I know
A
that.
couple days ago, maybe.
It's a 2D platformer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I insist. I always do that. Sorry.
No, I was gonna talk about something else. So go ahead. Let's finish.
Oh. It's a 2D platformer with some sort of watercolor type inspiration. I like Neva better in terms of the gameplay and then the story that it told. But I always think of Grease because there's this one section in which you're sort of in this red, let's call it uterus shaped contraption that crawls. And I never forget, I was playing it on the Portal, and my wife, who was watching TV next to me, was like, "What is that? It looks like a bloody uterus sprawling." And I never forget because that was, I mean, it was a crazy visual, but yeah, no, it was very enjoyable.
I saw that one is included if you have the PlayStation Plus the premium.
Yeah, that's how I played it.
If you have it, it's included with that. So if you, I might give that one a shot also because there's a lot of games that look like stuff that. I feel like I've been stuck in a rut with like these, $60, $70 games, and there's so many other games out there. So much stuff I haven't tried that's cheaper and something I know I would enjoy if I actually took the time to sit down. I get caught in that the AAA of like, well, it's the AAA game. I got to play those games and ignore all this other stuff over here. That's always been my mentality. And I've probably missed out on plenty of good games by doing it that way.
Well,
having that mentality.
I think I would say then Grease, Neva, even Slay the Princess are like a couple hour experiences to experience the story. If you want to go for the platinums, they're going to take longer, obviously, but
of course,
like well worth it. Especially if you have access to them through one of these services that lets you just download it and play it. Like they tell a story each, they're concise, they're to the point, and you get something out of it. And I'd say if you're in a rut, worth a try.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
I agree. I liked it a lot.
But so have anybody else been playing anything else before we move on to the next topic, or
I've also
go ahead.
Go ahead, Dalton.
I played that Pirate Yakuza game not too long ago. That was pretty fun.
oh yeah, you did.
Yeah,
You
did.
platinumed it.
I
You
did.
platinumed it. Yeah, that was impressive, honestly.
Yeah, it took me a little bit longer than what the guide says because I was actually enjoying the game, kind of playing it my way, but it was
God
was pretty
forbid.
fun. Yeah, I know. It's not very often, dude. Sometimes, man, I just get in that guide, that groove where I just go for the platinum. And usually, a lot of times, I'll beat the guide times. But, yeah, it was fun. It was just over the top. It was like a nice palate cleanser. Just something, just pure dumb fun. So, if you guys are looking for that kind of thing, or if anyone's looking for that
I've
kind
played
of
the
thing.
last 3
Was that your first
Yakuza
one?
games.
That was my first Yakuza. Yeah, Like a Dragon Yakuza game. It was pretty awesome.
Say
I
Pirate
played-
Yakuza sounds like fun.
It is.
I
It's
played
ridiculous.
I played Like a Dragon, I played Infinite Wealth, and I played the go between the man who erased his name, the one that was
Okay.
in between those two. I played and finished all 3 of those. And
nice.
I like my friend, my game sharing buddy Jared. He's played almost every single Yakuza game. It's one of his favorite franchises. He loves that over the top like kung fu action movie kind of thing. And I know he's been playing Pirate Yakuza, and I have the ability. I have it, but I just haven't actually sat down and started it. Honestly, it was like it's weird because it was like very. I mean, obviously it's set in Hawaii, but it's kind of Japan focused. So like I didn't want to play anything Japan focused until Shadows came out because I didn't want to burn myself out on that like type of game before.
I think it's different. I think
I
it's
know
different
they're
enough.
yeah.
It's not even
Okay.
close to the same, man. But no,
Right.
I get you though. But now you're balls deep in Assassin's Creed. So.
Yeah, I'm honestly probably not going to play much else for a while, other than maybe hopping in with Evan playing Monster Hunter every once in a while. But
Right.
I'm pretty much going to stick to Shadows for the time being.
Well, you probably won't have to
I
worry
think
about
mine-
that either because he's going to get Assassin's Creed as well, by the sounds of it. So
Is it-
Yeah,
a
and then we
couple
can
of
just
weeks,
and then we
you're
can just
gonna
talk
convince
about it.
That's right. He himself said that you were going to convince him eventually, so he's already admitted
Eventually.
defeat.
When it goes on sale at some point, right now my next play is probably going to be Atomfall.
yeah,
Ooh,
that's looking
that's a
fun.
good.
It
That's
is
rebellion.
looking, and the reviews dropped today. That it's getting pretty decent reviews. Not like mind-blowing game of the year type stuff, but definitely worth a play. It's on Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass,
it's already downloaded.
same. I'll eventually get to it, probably.
Hey Jeff,
but
what did we talk about not too long ago, man? A 7 out of
What?
10 is okay. It's fine.
it is okay.
It is okay.
100% okay.
That is
Sometimes
okay,
they're the
100%.
best games, honestly. They're better than a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, most of the time I don't listen to the ratings anyways because there are people that are paid to go. Oh, this has to look this way. This has to look this way. Now, most of the time I'm just like, is it fun? Did I
Yeah.
enjoy it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Am I getting my time, my enjoyment out of it? But yeah, any other games that we wanna talk about before we move on?
I'll just briefly mention I'm overloading myself on games. Usually I won't do more than 2 at a time, but right now I'm playing this great new game, Destiny 2. Nah, giving me a hard time with that. Though this season is actually really good. I'm also playing Red Dead Redemption for the first time, and
That's right. I forgot you started that.
The first
Yeah.
one or the second one?
first one.
Nice.
Yeah, I've not played either, so I figured I will play the first one, then I will play the second. I have both of them now, so won't be.
Yeah, like even though I think we talked about it, Dalton, at your party, like even though canonically, like 2 is a prequel to 1, it is still better to play 1 first and then play 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. 2 is aged better. So just play the first one, get it out of the way, because it's hard to go back and play the first one.
Dalton,
after
you're
playing the
breaking up a
second
little
one.
bit.
I am. That's all right. Don't worry about my audio.
Yeah,
for
you were
guys.
just breaking.
You guys get my shitty microphone. The stream's getting my good one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Works for me.
You guys
But
don't,
yeah,
you
I've
guys don't
started
deserve
that.
top shelf. Go ahead.
Okay.
I mean, if I want top shelf, the bourbon's over there.
Yep, mine's in the other room.
Yeah, the cabinet's over there. It's stocked.
Hell yeah.
Yes, it is. I can physically vouch for that. So, So I guess we'll kind of shift gears then after talking about all the stuff that we have been playing to what we're probably all going to be playing in the near future. There have been a lot of ramp up in rumors for the Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion remake. There was something that they were gonna announce it during that developer direct they did not that long ago, and then it didn't happen. But then I think it was last week they did rumors saying that they're going to announce it as soon as like next month, maybe May, and then it'll be like a June quick drop for the game. I mean, what are we feeling about it? I know Oblivion is honestly my favorite Elder Scrolls, one of my favorite games of all time, even over Skyrim, even though we just talked about Skyrim earlier. Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
I want to kick it off here. I'm excited for it. I've never played Oblivion. I own it. Never played it. But I want to start off by saying that there is credence to many of the rumors, because the way that this kicked off was, I don't know if you guys remember, but when Microsoft was trying to purchase Activision, there were a lot of things that came out through this discovery process, and one of them was the fact that Bethesda was working on remakes for Oblivion, remakes for Fallout 3, working on Doom Zero Year, which turned out to be Doom the Dark Ages. So that makes me feel happy as a guy who loved Fallout 3 last year, because I'm like, hey, I'll get to play it again, because if this rumor pans out about Oblivion being true, a remake really coming out, then I think it would be safe to say that a remake for Fallout 3 would eventually come out. Mm-hmm. But I'll kick it back to you guys in terms of being excited for Oblivion.
I am super pumped if it turns out to be the case. Oblivion was a phenomenal game. I put far too many hours of my life into that game.
Same.
I think before my file went corrupt, unfortunately, I was at 1,300 plus hours.
Jesus
Whoa. That's impressive.
Yeah, I had a bunch of hours, and then my file corrupted, so the Xbox went out the window. And then I bought
I mean, that's fair. I think all of us would agree with that. That was a fair thing to do with a game.
I had also heard there was talks that in the new Oblivion they are talking, and that's not a reliable source. It's just talks of that somebody had seen on a site, that they're talking about bringing some of Morrowind and some aspects of Skyrim into the Oblivion world to open the game up more.
I'm actually glad that you brought this up, because this sort of leads into what I would want to ask for those of you on here who are Oblivion veterans. Is this game came out back in 2006, right? So are we going to get a remaster, a remake? What are some quality of life? For example, Evan, you put 1,300 plus hours into this game, right? And as much as you loved it, I'm pretty sure there were some quality of life issues that you could definitely speak to. Like, hey, I would like this to have changed. This could have been better. What would you want the remake to fix that the original one, due to limitation or technology, whatever the case may be, just wasn't able to get right?
I feel like there's a lot more creature comforts in games now that didn't used to exist back in that era.
It was an RPG in truest form, like similar to like Kingdom Come Deliverance.
But I mean, even just simple things like just a normal. Everybody does it now. Everybody does it in RPGs. There's a button, whether it be X or where, I believe for you guys, where you take all. That didn't exist in the original one. So you had to go through and click every single thing, which at the beginning when you're killing stuff and they're like level 4 and they have just a knife, not a big deal. But later on in the game, when you drop something and it's got a full set of Daedric armor, and you're like, okay, and you take all of it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh cool, I can't move. Why can't I move? Because it didn't tell you that you were over encumbered. It didn't tell you hit the weight limit, and all of a sudden you're going through things like, oh crap.
I'd be okay.
Just
they just
little
remove
creature. Yeah, I mean, there's I guarantee day 2 mod for it. I guarantee it.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, PC is gonna have a freaking field day with an Oblivion remake. Oh my god. And to answer, I know you had to kind of ask Goose about like I hope at the end of the day that they work at it from the ground up. It is not just a prettier version of Oblivion. As much as I love Oblivion, as much as it's one of my favorite games of all time, I tried playing when I got PlayStation Plus Premium. You could stream the PS3 version of Oblivion, and I tried doing it, and it was rough. Like it's still rough. Like the atmosphere's there. The music is some of my favorite music in gaming, period. But like just how it plays, how awkward the animations are, how like
Clunky.
weird the faces look, how clunky everything is. I don't want it just to be a prettier version of what I know. Okay, I'll still buy it, but I'll be more upset about buying it than if they actually rebuilt it from the ground up, added those elements of Skyrim, added those things that they had in Morrowind, but they didn't bring over to Oblivion. Like, I would be much more.
I
It would
do
bring
want
me
them.
much more joy to
I
play
want
through it
them.
again.
I want them to make it slightly more efficient, but I want them to bring back all of the crafting abilities that Oblivion had. Because Oblivion had crafting abilities that reminded me of, like, not quite as estranged World of Warcraft. If you needed this, you could make it. You could physically go out, spend the time, and make, for the most part, whatever you needed, except for certain armor sets and that kind of thing. You had to get those from specific people. But I want that but instead of one piece at a time like they used to have to do, how you can do like now, where you can say I want to make 8 of these, and you just make 8 of them. So instead of smelting one iron ingot, you can make whatever you have worth of ore in your bag, and then put it into the pack, all in a group and not one at a time.
Right. Yeah, just little things that they'll just make it be a smoother experience. Because I feel like it is still one of my favorite
It's a
stories
fantastic
and
game.
worlds. It's just
I also heard it's supposed to be Unreal Engine 5, which
I believe that's what I read for the rumor as well.
which gives me hope on what was back then an already pretty world having so much more depth to it is going to be fantastic. Hopefully.
Yeah. See,
Fingers crossed.
me being, I guess, the tech nerd of the group, and hearing you say that it's being made in UE5, that makes me happy. But for another host of reasons. Now, I want to know who's the team working on this. Like, was it outsourced to like another team outside of Bethesda, or is it Bethesda proper working on this game? Because if it's Bethesda proper working on this game, and they're moving away from their Gamebryo game engine, that makes me happy, because we know the problems that Game Embryo has. But I also wanted to point out that there is an Oblivion remake that has also been worked on for years by a small team of mods and devs. I think it's called Skyblivion.
Skyblivion. You're right.
And it's also supposed to come out in 2025. So I hope that this doesn't impact them negatively either, because we've known about Skyblivion for a couple of years now, and they have been working very, very hard.
I was joking with a friend earlier about this, that I feel like the Oblivion remake might be an attempt to steal the thunder from the Skyblivion people. I hope it's not. I really hope that they're not like playing this hyper competitively, because those guys have put in a huge amount of work and they deserve credit for it.
For, like you said, literally years.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, I have precisely one memory of Oblivion, because I never played it myself, and that memory was hanging out with a buddy who was playing it, who had made his character a blue Ozzy Osbourne who could shoot lightning from his hands, and he was fighting a Minotaur.
Yep.
Like, for that, I hope the rumors are true. I want to see this in current day.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this April, the rumor is that it's going to come out next month in April. And April for Xbox is going to be stacked. I'm like,
Yeah.
See, which is why I don't think it's gonna. I really don't see them doing that, because I mean they would.
I think it
I mean,
gets
granted, I'm
announced in
sure it'll
April.
be
a
on
lot-
other than
So
Xbox.
I actually thought about this, right? And of course, yeah, it'll if in fact this is true, it'll be Game Pass day one. It'll be Xbox, PC, and PlayStation 5. Of that, I am sure. But I'm looking at the roadmap of games coming out, and I'm like, where do you put it? I mean, April's stacked already. Forza Horizon 5 is releasing on PS5, but it's a Microsoft published game. You got Indie also coming out, which I think was like one of the really good Xbox first party games that came out last year. It was like super underrated just because of the fact that it came out on the platform that it came out on. I mean, it did come out on PC, but hopefully on PS5 it'll get more exposure and it'll actually sell a good amount. So you got those two games coming out in April, and then this Skyrim, this Oblivion remake. So yeah, April is going to be stacked. But to your point, Jeff, if they don't release it in April, are they going to release it in May? Is Microsoft willing to cannibalize some of their Doom sales, because Doom is also supposed to come out in May, and then they're like, all right,
14th of May, I think May 14th, I believe.
yeah, and then if you shift it to June, then you're competing with Death Stranding 2, right?
Right.
So it's just like month after month after month, you got all these heavy hitters coming in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
I
I mean,
Xbox was a stacked spring.
it's everyone's
Sorry.
afraid of the big
To-
bad
to-
fucking wolf, man. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Yep, that's right.
to
GTA.
go with what, to go with what you were saying though, you said Indie is coming to PlayStation, correct?
Correct.
And
correct.
you said the other one that was coming to PlayStation,
Forza.
Forza.
is coming to PlayStation. So those are both coming to PlayStation, but Xbox coming out in April, it wouldn't necessarily not make any sense for, especially as an Xbox
Well,
contract.
yeah,
Well,
I think the only other
Xbox-
Xbox exclusive is what, South of Midnight.
And Claire Obscure.
Yeah, the RPG.
Well, it's
Expedition
not
33.
it's not an exclusive, but it is day one Game Pass, and it is being heavily backed by Microsoft.
And South of
That's
Midnight
fair.
is an exclusive, though.
It
South of
is.
Midnight.
As of right now. Currently an exclusive as
I'm
of right
so
now.
bummed about that. It should have been PS5 day one. I mean, I got
Just-
Game Pass, but whatever.
Just quick snippet for me. I think all exclusives should not exist.
Like, you think everything should be available and everything.
I think
Agreed.
you should I think A, it'd be better for developers because then they're going to make more money and be able to make more games. But also B, I think as a whole, as a gaming community, that you should be able to play whatever you want to play on whatever you want to play it on. You guys talked to your last show about how PlayStation controllers felt better to most of you, and see, I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I can't stand how the PlayStation controller feels. It makes my hands go numb. I like the chunkier, bulkier heft of the Xbox controller. It's more comfortable to my hands.
Mhm.
But there are so many games that I would be more apt to play if I didn't have to buy them on PlayStation, where the controller bothers my hands. Like the the Final Fantasy VII remake, for example.
Oh, so good.
I bought it. I played maybe 3 hours of it, and I haven't touched it since because, my hands cramped up, and I was like, I can't put any real time into it. The last game I bought on the PlayStation was Harry Potter.
Okay.
I mean, there's a real quick fix for that. I mean, frankly, Evan, there's a real quick fix for that. Just get new hands. Just buy them on
Yeah, I
Amazon.
mean-
just get new hands.
I mean, Jeff Bezos would probably ship them to me real fast.
You probably would. You probably would.
You probably would.
But that's just. I mean, I think that
To each their own,
personally,
for
as
sure.
a community,
Yeah.
but I think as a community, I think it would be so much cooler to see, everything coming to everybody. And I think Xbox is attempting to try that olive branch with Forza coming. Rumor has it Gears of War is coming.
Halo is rumored
Which-
to come also. Yeah.
Which would be sweet
Goose
because
is a big Gears of War fan also,
Sup,
Evan.
sup, Goose.
Gears.
Those
Love
ones,
Gears.
I've got every achievement in every game. I've still got all the collectibles for.
Whoa! Do you even the
Oh, yeah.
Unreal ones?
Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive.
Like if on my little shelf, I have all of the Gears of War collector's editions complete.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
remember Shotgun Hose back in Gears 1?
I do. I do. I'm excited for. I'm getting off topic, but I'm excited for E-Day to see Dom back in it.
Can we just have a quick aside real quick?
Okay.
Evan, what do you feel? How do you feel about the coalition not continuing the sequel trilogy story with Kate, with Adele, with JD, and moving on to E-Day? Like, I love E-Day. I love original Gears. I love Delta Squad. But I'm like, yeah, you got to finish that story. You had to finish it.
I want to finish the story, but I'm okay with, especially knowing now that they're going to go to PlayStation. Supposedly, is the rumor. I'm okay with E-Day coming out and giving a bit of backstory because I assume that will eventually come to PlayStation as well. To give backstory on everything, because I would love to know the backstory on, for example, one of my favorite villains of all time, General Rom. I would love to know how that all happened, and then hope that they give it to the correct team to finish and continue on. So now that we know how E-Day got, to continue on and add that into the furthering of the story for Kate and JD.
I think that's honestly a really good point, Evan. Like with doing E-Day, it would honestly make sense for them to put out like that Gears trilogy leading up to E-Day on PlayStation, because then if they do release E-Day on PlayStation, it gives the PlayStation audience as well as the Xbox audience that backstory and everything like that, and not just kind of like throwing them to the wolves kind of thing.
I agree with you.
I feel like if you give a whole new setup, it'd be like giving you Halo 1 through 3 and then just Infinite.
Doesn't make sense.
Like,
that's right.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
So if you do the trilogy, and then you go to E-Day, show them how everything began, and then you give them
4 and 5.
Look, here's 4 and 5 is releasing here. Continue on to the story.
That makes sense.
I would want them to. Sorry, just real quick. I would want them to include Judgment, because I know people hated Judgment, but I think People Can Fly did a great job with Judgment.
I thought Judgment was a good game, but
I think my biggest thing against it was just the switching weapons. But besides that, I thought it was awesome.
Just want to jump into your aside here. I'm also a fan of Gears. I'm maybe not as dedicated. I don't have any collection or completion of all the achievements, but I did play the entire series up to 5 pretty much back to back, like a couple of years ago. And I guess I hadn't followed the news about it. So E-Day, I assume then is a prequel to these. I didn't realize that was actually coming out soon.
It's supposed to be 2026, yeah.
Have they actually, so just to clarify what you said, have they like stopped the story of 5, or are they just taking a break from it, or do we just not know?
We don't know.
Okay.
It seemed, like I said, I'm hoping they'll continue it, as we were just talking about. I think from a now hearing that there's a retrospect that it's coming to another complete system with a whole new story that nobody's seen, technically, it makes sense to go back to give backstory on what they're going to see before you go forward and confuse everybody.
Yeah, I hope they do pick up with a Gear 6 proper at some point, because I do want to see where that story goes, and
I do too.
I don't want to have to read it in a comic book, as I've had to do with another prominent Microsoft series to see how a game was resolved, because the sequel to it picked up at a weird place with very little connection to the game before it. If anyone can figure out which one I'm talking about, be my guests and take a guess. But
does it rhyme with Schmalo?
And indeed it does.
Oh man, crazy!
Oh wow!
Just like I was excited about the new Fable that has gotten pushed till next year, I believe.
Yeah.
I just want to. So real quick, I just want to add a little more color to the whole Gears thing before we hop into Fable. So Craig Ferguson, who was the creative director of both Gears 4 and Gears 5, he left. He went to Activision Blizzard to work on the Diablo franchise, which was one of his lifelong dreams, and he finally got to do it. And the rumor out there is that once Craig left, he was really the one pushing this sequel trilogy and this new squad, which includes Kate, Dell, and JD. But once he left, and that champion left, the coalition sort of wanted to go back to its roots, and supposedly this is how Gears E-Day came about. I don't know if it necessarily has anything to do with setting it up for PlayStation, because these games take years to make.
Right.
But I think it would dovetail perfectly for them to say, hey, look, now we have a jumping off point. Play the remasters 1, 2, 3, and now you can hop into E Day. But yeah, I really want them to finish the story of 6. It left on a cliffhanger, one that I did not like. But yeah, we can talk about Fable now.
I do really hope they give it a proper finish, is what I would like to call it. Even if they just do 6 and it stops, they have whatever may happen in 6 and it's over with, and then they go on to whatever else they want to do. But I feel like the game deserves a proper. But I felt that about a lot of games that they
It just never happened.
And just for context,
Right.
I wanna kiss Evan's ass just a little more. There's an achievement called Seriously in Gears 1, in which you have to get 10,000 ranked kills online. 10,000. And just for more context, when you face off against others in a ranked game, you can kill a maximum of up to 4 if you kill the entire team. Just to give some more color as to how impressive that achievement is. Again.
Yeah, when I don't even know if everything transferred over. I hope it did, because I had to switch years ago. I had to switch my tags, so I might have to go redo some of those. But I know when I originally turned my Xbox on and I loaded up Gears for the first time, it had a solid 25 minutes of just pings.
Crazy,
So I was
just
just sitting there
popping up.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, okay, cool, just keep going. You're watching the score stay the same, but they're all just going through because it's a new thing. Because I had the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, I had ran Gears 1 so many times. I can't do it now. I don't think, but I had ran Gears 1 so many times that I think Jeff was playing with me the one day, and I was telling him which way to go because I knew where all the collectibles that he was going to need was. So I just told him where to go as I killed things.
Yep, pretty much.
I've told Law to play them with me, but he's allergic to the Xbox controller. So I guess I just have to wait for it to come to PlayStation.
Yeah.
That'll get him to play it for
You know how
sure.
hard it is to get the
nothing.
backlog shit, though, dude? It is so fucking tough.
Yeah.
There is nothing quite like chainsawing somebody in half, though.
I've played the first one. I loved it. It's always my example for being bummed that I never had an Xbox growing up, because that was like one of my favorite games to go play at like a friend's house or something, was Gears.
Mm-hmm.
I love it is probably one of my all-time favorite titles.
So
I own a chainsaw.
Do you really?
I do, but you guys keep going. I'll post it on the chat.
You're fine. So sticking with Xbox, real quick before we move on to things outside of the Xbox. So it was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, that they were talking about it's not an official Xbox handheld, but it is basically a PC handheld that is going to be Xbox branded, Xbox integrated, but you can still put other operating systems on it, like you can put other launchers on it, like Steam and stuff, like similar to the ROG Ally. And then with that rumor, there was another one that kind of came about that is the rumors that their next Xbox console, whatever that may be, could launch as soon as 2027.
That's about right.
What are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, what do you think? Do you think 2027 is too early for a new console? And what are your thoughts on a Xbox branded PC handheld?
I don't think it's too early, and I don't think it'll be an Xbox branded console. I think it'll be an Xbox branded handheld. I think they're going to go with Asus. I think they're going to try and play into the PC.
Yeah.
I think they're going
to.
I think the console, when they make it, is going to be Asus as well. I think they're going to try and play into the plug and play piece. Yeah, I think they're going to go Asus on the handheld and see how it plays out, and I think they're going to try and make a third-party Xbox, almost computer-esque thing.
Well, there's that rumor today, or that thing that
Yeah.
popped up today, I'm assuming is what you're referring to, Goose, before I don't want to
Sorry, I
step on your
haven't seen
toes.
anything. I don't know.
So,
Go ahead.
what I saw today was that there was a thing that the Xbox posted on one of their social medias, that it was like their whole campaign of this is an Xbox, all these different things that even aren't an Xbox console can be considered an Xbox. One of the things on the launchers, or there's like tabs or something, and one of the tabs that was on there was Steam. And I know, Evan, you and I have talked about this a couple of times about how getting Steam integrated into Xbox, not just the PC side of things, but the console side of things. So if this 2027 Xbox, new Xbox console that is integrated with PC parts or integrated in it as a PC thing, having this ability to basically be a PC that you hook up to your television as opposed to a monitor. Honestly, all of these, like, all the dominoes are kind of lining up where I could see them doing this, and this kind of becoming the reality of the Xbox. And then they basically turn into a third party. Like, yeah, you can play, our new games on this, but you can also, if you have PlayStation, play them on PlayStation. You have PC, you can play them on PC. So it fits with their whole narrative that they're spinning right now, in my
Also,
opinion.
in effect to that, how we were just talking about exclusives not that long ago, that would play into that. If Xbox ends up signing a deal with Steam, that would then give Xbox technically access to some God of Wars,
Yeah, Sony's first party stuff that
Horizon,
they've released on Steam.
because they are on Steam, and they would technically be applicable to play then on said Xbox.
A PC Xbox hybrid thing.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get an actual Xbox. I think we'll get a PC
type
that
of
you
hybrid.
can plug into your TV. Yeah,
Basically,
Yeah.
they're bringing Steam machines back.
I mean, yeah, it's
Well,
more or
well,
less. Yes.
I'm gonna step in and push back here. The report, this rumor stems from Windows Central. Props over to Jess Corden, who actually came up with this. So just to clarify for everybody on here, and also whoever listens to this, so what Microsoft is planning allegedly is that they're gonna put out a handheld with an OEM, an original equipment manufacturer, and that would be ASUS. And that is sort of going to be like a test prop, like a test dummy to see how the handheld does. The rumor is that it's going to come out this year in 2025. It's going to be an Xbox branded handheld. It'll have Xbox Play Anywhere, but it won't. The rumor is that it won't allow you to play, for example, your Game Pass games on the handheld, or any games that you own on the handheld. So again, that's just Microsoft sort of starting to roll it out to see how it goes. And then come 2027, so for example, in 2020, we had the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Now, they're going to sort of play with that, and they're going to shrink that Xbox Series S, as it were, and they're actually going to make an in-house hardware coming from Microsoft, not an OEM, not a Lenovo, not an ASUS. It'll be an actual Microsoft handheld to go alongside what we know now as the Xbox Series X, but so a successor to that. It's not a Steam machine. It's not made by a third-party manufacturer. It is made in-house by Microsoft. That is the rumor. We'll see how it goes. I know that the Xbox Series S gets a lot of the Xbox Series S gets a lot of flack because it is underpowered. It has the same CPU that the Series X does, but in terms of the GPU, it's actually, I think it's like a quarter of it, I think, or a third.
Yeah.
It's like four teraflops or whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you can shrink that and put it in a handheld form factor, then I would assume that the consumer has a lower expectation when they, because you're not playing it on a big TV, you're playing it on a handheld. So I think you'd be okay with the specs of a Series S on a handheld as opposed to, whatever you output to your 4K television. I think this is a last shot for Microsoft. I think that this may very well be the last in-house worked on console that Microsoft puts out if it doesn't sell.
Yeah,
I could agree with that wholeheartedly.
And I can't wait to see what this project, I think it's called Project Kennen, what they're going to put out this year with ASUS. Yeah. The rumors are that it's going to be like a ROG Ally type deal, but it's going to have an Xbox UI. It's going to have an Xbox interface, and I'm excited for it. I don't think I'll be there day one.
I don't think I'll be buying it, but I
No.
definitely want to see how it plays out for sure.
Yeah.
Here's my big issue with the whole handheld game on the Xbox. It sounds, in theory, phenomenal. Great idea. Depending on what they price it at, firstly, because if they price it wrong, then you're just going to buy an ROG Ally or you're going to buy a Steam Deck. What's the point otherwise?
Yeah.
And then you also have to worry about, okay, well, if they, for example, guys, you said it's supposed to come out this year. In our talk, since we're gonna make a jump to that too at some point, you have to fight with a juggernaut of handhelds in the room, which is going to be the Switch 2,
which we will get to here shortly.
which we will get here to shortly. But you're going to have to fight with that. So if you bring out a handheld and you underprice it just so you can sell it, which would be whatever, so you can get them out there. But then you're also going to have to deal with Nintendo, who, when they dropped their handheld, everybody was like, okay, cool, I'm already saving money, let's go. I'm going to get the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to do with it, you have to. It's the same as like we talked about, everybody with a juggernaut in the room. You don't want to deal with GTA 6. Right, they don't want to fight. GTA
nobody
6.
like literally. I think the furthest out release date as of right now. I mean, granted, we're only in March. Is like September. So
Right,
nobody wants to go any further than September.
But nobody wants to fight GTA 6. I think it's you're pushing your luck if you're going to try and fight Nintendo in their realm.
And I don't agree know if they're for the same consumer. Sorry,
no. I'm gonna literally just ride on those coattails because I was about to say the same thing. I don't think there could be crossover. I could be completely wrong.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I think that the folks that buy Nintendo get Nintendo for Nintendo games. And I have a Switch, and I don't have a single third party game on that system. My entire library is all stuff made and published by Nintendo because I bought that system for Nintendo games. Now, again, that's anecdotal. That's just me. But going back to this theoretical Xbox handheld, either the OEM one or the one worked on by Microsoft, I think there is a value proposition there. If you take the Steam machine, right, you can only play Steam games on it. And the selling point for that is somebody with a vast Steam library, hey, just pay for this handheld, and 80% plus of your games that you already own, you can play.
Steam Deck.
And Steam Deck, sorry, you can play it on the go. Now, a lot of I know Steam has a monopoly, right? But a lot of folks buy games on Epic, they buy games on GOG, they buy games on other launchers, and I think there is a value proposition there if Microsoft can say, hey, you can have this handheld in which you can play Game Pass games, but check this out. You can install Steam. You can install the Epic Store. You can install GOG, right? I think there's a value proposition there for those gamers that want everything in one, not just a Steam machine. Oh, sorry, a Steam Deck.
And I see that value as well, but at the same time, you can't then outprice yourself to where you're facing like an ROG Ally, because an ROG Ally isn't just a Steam Deck.
No,
it can do,
PC.
and
it's Windows PC in your
and so you can
Windows PC.
Game Pass on the ROG Ally. So let's say the ROG Ally is 700. I don't know how much they are. I haven't looked, but let's say it's 700. And the Xbox.
I mean, for the higher end ones, yes, 700.
Well, let's say the Xbox comes out for 700-800, and it's untested. Which one are most people gonna go with?
That's
some people, you're right, are gonna go with Xbox. Yeah, they're gonna go with Xbox because it's just Xbox, and much like you have hardcore, PlayStation fanboys, there are hardcore Xbox fanboys.
What if it just works? I'll give you an example. The ROG Ally.
Okay.
You got to tinker, right? Like my wife isn't going to tinker with any of that stuff. Oh wait, I've got to put this launcher and I've got to do this, but the Windows UI isn't necessarily good on handheld mode, right? No, she's just going to drop it. She's like, I don't want anything to do with this. But if I give her the iPhone of handhelds, right? Like, hey, this is a smartphone for dumb people. Here you go, right?
Click the button, it works.
Click the button and it works, right? Again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That's all.
Oh no, that's what this is for. That's what
but
conversation's about, and that's
kind of what the Steam Deck is, though, right?
But the Steam Deck doesn't have
It's
push
Xbox
button it
launcher.
works.
technically.
Yeah, but you can dual boot Windows on. Obviously, like you said though, it's not for the people that are going to tinker.
There's
like
definitely
that, but
tinkering involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, but
Um,
I mean, I see what he's saying. Like he said, for the people that are, tech illiterate, much like the people who, you're not going to give a 7-year-old a Nintendo to play and expect him to try to boot up 17 different things. You're not going to give most people a ROG Ally and go, hey, I need you to dual boot this, and then you need to background overlay that, and they're going to look at you with 17 eyes and goes, what did you just say?
Right.
Unless you are into the tech world, which I would assume like people like Gus would be like, oh, okay, cool, give me 5 minutes. But
yeah, we'd all
normal people
figure
aren't
it
going to
out.
be like,
Yeah.
but most normal ish, that don't PC aren't going to be like, okay, well, let me just go in and overlay this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to. Sorry, go ahead, Storm.
I just want to say, like, the idea of crossing launchers on one individual device and having it just work, to me, as a person with a lot of background in PC building and a lot of tinkering with games
Sounds
and modding
far-fetched.
and all of that kind of stuff, it sounds impossible.
Right.
Just impossible. I'm not going to say it is impossible. Maybe they'll work a miracle. But I think if they don't work a miracle, I don't know who this is for. When I heard Xbox was making a handheld, and this was just, like, I'd heard it. I didn't get any details. I didn't know about this OEM stuff. I got really excited for a few minutes because I haven't touched my Xbox since October, but I have a ton of games on there that I don't want to just disappear into the ether. They're all digital. Like, oh, I could maybe get a handheld and I could work through these in my spare time. Like,
Right. Like you do with the Portal.
Yep. And
Right.
then I looked into it further. I'm like, oh, this is an OEM. This is an alternative to an ROG Ally. This is not what I'm looking for. Why are they making this? Like,
Right.
Exactly.
that was the order of thoughts that I had. And I don't know. Like, Microsoft is a software company. I will say it a million times. They're a software company. Maybe they can make it work, but it sounds really unlikely to me. PC gaming is just, I don't know. It's a sensitive balance to
Yep.
get things to work even out of the box. Like, you can have the best PC in the world and you can start up a game and it just doesn't work, and you got to dig
Nope.
into INI files or
I did that the first
Change
time
your-
with Gears of War.
change your settings, get different drivers depending on what operating system you're running.
Because I opened up Gears of War the first time, it told me because I have RGB fans in the computer. It was like it detected it as
Anti-cheat, wasn't it?
anti-cheat, and I had to
Mhm.
go into programming, disable the RGB so it would let me boot the game. And once the game booted, it then flashed the fans into the color of the game, and that was totally cool. But it couldn't do RGB on launch.
Yeah, I had a weird thing, like when I got Hollow Knight back years ago, probably it was like 2017, I think. I had a Razer Blade laptop, and I was trying to play it on there, and I couldn't get it to play. Like, it was like a slideshow. And Hollow Knight is a 2D
Metroidvania.
Side scroller, yeah, side scroller.
side scroller, and I'm trying to play this on a cutting edge laptop at that time, and I'm getting like 5 frames a second. Like, what is wrong here? And it turned out to be a BIOS setting.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
when stuff like that happens, it just makes it sound so implausible to me that anybody's going to come up with a handheld that's just going to solve all of these weird idiosyncrasies that PC games have, that console games largely eliminate.
The
Right.
joys and awfulness of PC gaming.
Exactly.
Right.
The joys. You can have all the frame rate, you can have all the pixels, you can have all the fun, you can do all the
Highest
mods.
end, a 5090 in there. And
But at the same time, you can have one thing not boot 100%, and all of a sudden your game runs at 4 frames a second because the BIOS is like, hey, by the way, and it just stops doing what it's supposed to do, and your
Right.
game goes, I don't understand how to work.
Dude,
I
I'm
still
telling
haven't
you.
played Mirror's Edge because I've never been able to get it to play on my PC, and it
Which
drove me
game?
crazy. Mirror's
Mirror's
Edge.
Edge.
oh, jeez.
I wanted to play it,
Wow.
and
God, I love that game though.
I've heard it's not like a super long game, but it was
No.
cool. It was a
It's
unique
not. It's like
concept.
7 hours.
It's like a 5 to 6 hour game if you're lucky.
I can get about 5 seconds into it before it crashes, and it does this on every PC that I have.
And that's the
That's
thing too is
crazy.
PC gaming
It's
too.
crazy.
Like Evan said, you could have the best hardware in your PC, and optimization and ports are so fucking bad 90% of the time. Like,
Yeah,
fuck,
like
every Square Enix game, pretty much. They're all terrible on PC. I played.
I mean, Rebirth didn't when Rebirth launched, it was rough on
Yeah,
PC.
and it's always like that though. It's you can have a game launch side by side, PC and console, and it just runs like ass on your PC, and then. Dude, I'm telling you, you have like a list of
I think
choices.
Well,
it's
even
inherent to
Monster
the
Hunter.
platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monster Hunter had some PC issues from what I heard when it first launched. They fixed them after a week of updates and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like if you spend $70+ on a game and you have to wait a week after it's supposed, like if like Monster Hunter is your be all end all of like this is the game I've been looking forward to for the last like 2 years or whatever, and you get it and it's like I still have to wait another week of playing a broken version of it until it fully works. That just it takes the wind out of the sails for me at least. I can't speak for all of
And
you.
credit to
I don't want to
Capcom
make it
for
a
getting-
console versus PC type of thing. Sorry, I don't want to make it a console versus PC type of thing, but it's inherent to the platform, right?
It
That's one of, like, how could you as a developer, right? Like even a 300 person team, how could you possibly scale and think about every single PC configuration out there? The answer is you can't. You can't. The answer is you can't. That's one of the pros of console. It is a fixed box, and you just work to that fixed specification. It's inherent to the platform.
So I was going to just say the same thing, and me and Jeff have talked about that. You can have that's what is nice about an Xbox or a PlayStation. If I go out and I'd say since we talked about it, I buy Monster Hunter. It's going to work day one. It's going to work as long as it works on everything else. It'll be fine.
I mean, and sometimes there's issues. Not to saying that
Right.
there's not issues on console, especially in this day and age.
But for example, on PC, you can have somebody who's running, an i9, a 5090, a 1200 watt power supply. They got 64 gigs of GDDR6, and they're cooking. And at the same time, you have to be able to account for somebody who's like, "Hey guys, I just got a 2060 because they came down to market value, and I'm running, an AMD second gen." And you're like, okay, cool. So they've got a Ryzen 2, and these guys have an i9. So not only do you have to figure out Intel to AMD, but you have to adjust for everything in between there. The AMD cards, the new Intel cards, the NVIDIA, all of them because I still have friends that use 580s.
And now you're getting like the AMD chips where like the AMG and Snapdragon and all that shit, the singular chips where they're all on one. They're integrated GPU, CPU chips. And it's just there's so much
APUs.
Yeah. Yep, and there's just so much fucking going on, man. It's not
there's no possible way they can figure out every possible
And make it work.
configuration and make it go, okay, well, it's going to work for the 50. It's going to work for the guy who has a $5,000 setup with the 5090 just as well as it's going to work for the guy who's got a $500 budget setup that he went to Micro Center and went, hey, I see this as an open box and it's got a card that is an actual physical card instead of nothing.
Right.
And I guess with the Xbox handheld, again, the OEM one, the thing that concerns me about that is having worked on Microsoft Surfaces for a long time, like they give you some options for fixing stuff and getting into the behind the scenes of the system, but not as much as you would get from basically any other PC. And I would be worried that Microsoft would push for a similar sort of situation with their handheld, which would limit the amount of ability that you have to troubleshoot a problem with, say, a PC game that you're trying to run on it. Which then, like, if you can't do that, the other option for making PC games work is to sell enough of these units that developers pay attention and plan for that configuration when they're publishing their games.
Right.
And I don't think there's any world where they're going to sell enough of these, even if it's an amazing machine, to actually grab that kind of attention. I could be wrong.
I agree.
but-
I agree wholeheartedly, and I guess I'm eating my own foot in a sense because I know that Evan started off by saying I wish that there were no such thing as exclusives. I know I'm paraphrasing here, and I agree with him entirely. But the business model, as it stands, and it has stood for a long time, is I make exclusive games for box, and people flock to box because of exclusive games.
Hold on.
And Microsoft.
I flock to box. Go ahead.
I love flocking boxes. Let me tell you what.
and Microsoft is trying to upend the industry by doing away with said business model. I wish them the best. I wish them the best because honestly, the business model as it stands is just not sustainable. There's no way that I, as a publisher, will invest 400, 300, $500 million over the course of a 5-year or 6-year development cycle and then wait for a return on investment. No, it's just there's a lot of risk involved.
I also think if you get rid of exclusives, you give those developers a big chance to make a lot more income on that game. If you, for example, if you cut off PlayStation entirely, there's millions of users on PlayStation, much like I said on Xbox and PC. But if you just, let's say you exclusively go PC and Xbox, and let's say there's, I don't know how many, but let's say there's 60 million PlayStation users. Even if half of them buy the game, you just lost out on 30 million units worth of sale. That could have just funded the whole next project.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have that because somebody's like, oh no, I don't want them to have to play it because they didn't give me this game. Who cares?
Especially because how expensive games are getting to make, and how studios are closing weekly. It feels like at this point, because they're not able to keep up with the paying everybody. I'm assuming is a big part of it, or the sales are lackluster, quote unquote.
I mean, how many other studios would we have kept around if exclusives would have died off, 3, 4, 5 years ago? How many of those studios would have still been able to at least try and make one more game, 2 more games to try and keep them afloat and see what they can actually do if, you can sell an extra 10, 15 million units?
I think we're about to have our answer to that question here pretty soon, though. We're going to see how Microsoft games do on PlayStation. I think they're going to sell fucking crazy. But
I can't wait for May numbers when they get April's numbers for how the games do.
Because I think Sea of Thieves did pretty well, and that was a pretty old game by the time it came to PlayStation. Mm-hmm. I think Gears is going to be huge. Obviously, Indiana Jones is going to be fucking massive. It's going to be ridiculous.
We talked about it literally on the last show that I know Dalton, you for sure we're waiting to play it till it came to PlayStation. I know I prefer that I'm going to play it on PlayStation eventually. I don't know if I'm going to buy it day one, but
right. I probably won't, but I'll get it this fall.
Mm-hmm. Because it's not a super long game, so I think that it's going to be one of those that's like a good, curl up in the winter type game. And that's, it came out in December, which is it was kind of perfect time of the year for something like that. So, but switching gears a little bit, I guess we're at a good stopping point. We did talk about it a little bit, but the Switch 2, we are about a little less than 2 weeks to the big reveal on April 2nd. April 2nd. It's a Wednesday. Yep. So I think it's April 2nd. We're going to get the full reveal of the Switch 2. I know we got the teaser video. Was it a couple months ago now? Was it back in February?
Yeah.
That would have been a month. That would have been a month ago. We are in March.
A little over a month ago. But it's definitely coming out.
Go ahead.
What's that?
He said the world's not ending quick enough.
But yeah, so I mean, we had enough. We've had a little bit of tease of what we're gonna get. We're pretty much guaranteed we're gonna be getting a new Mario Kart as a launch title.
Yeah.
And I know they've talked about the new Pokemon game on Pokemon Day. I would bet that that's going to be a launch title, or at least a launch window title for something like that. We've seen things like what we don't really know what the system is going to be, what it's going to strive for. Is it going to strive for being comparable to our current gen systems of the PS5 and the Xbox Series systems? I don't think it can do that. Nintendo's never really strived for meeting the competition. They've always strived for being different. Right, but they're also making a sequel to one of the best-selling systems of all time, and it's weird that they're literally making, it's how like the NES to the SNES. It's like it's a literal direct sequel to a console.
I wish they would have called it the Super Switch instead of Switch 2, man.
That would have been actually really cool. I would have been all right with that. I would have been 100% okay with that.
But then I can just see people running away with it. Nintendo SS. No, that's not good.
No, never mind.
Do the Super Switch and then do it in like GameCube colors.
That would be sweet.
Ooh, all right.
I hope we get the indigo. Yeah, the indigo color.
That would be great.
Ah,
I do like the what they've shown is it's keeping the red and the blue, but making it a gray or dark system, and then having hints of that color as opposed to having the new Joy-Cons, whatever they may be that color. I know the rumors have been that there's going to be a mouse capability to the new Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys
Similar
have seen
to
that.
The Legion Go. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. But I guess what are your expectations? What do you guys think the price point's going to be? Because we don't know that yet. We won't know that for another couple of weeks. You think 4? I'm guessing
I agree with
400.
Dalton.
If they go, I think Goose, you'd said it in the group chat when this was announced. If they do like a $400 base version, $450 OLED. I would honestly, in that situation, I would automatically just go to the OLED and get that upgrade done with.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think that's a possibility? Or you think they're going to do it like they did the original Switch, where we get just the Switch and then we get the OLED down the road? Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
Nintendo's predictable. Nintendo so far, Nintendo has been very predictable. So I assume that they're not going to give me what I want in terms of giving me the base model and then like a higher tier model. I think what they're going to do is they're going to put out I think it's going to launch at $499. I think that consoles because I think that the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, mainly the PS5, have shown that these things will sell. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that this is the first console generation in which prices have gone up in certain territories as opposed to gone down. We had the Slim, and what Sony did with the Slim was like, hey, we're going to take out the disk drive, and if you want that, it's going to cost you a little more, right? So again, prices went up this generation as opposed to going down, and they have not gone down yet. So I think that Nintendo's looking at the market and they're like, if they can sell that for 500, we can sell that for 500. We're Nintendo.
I hope that's not the case, but I sadly am going to probably agree with you. I wish it wasn't true, but it seems like they could they could easily say $499.
Can they though? Will the typical Nintendo users do that though? You know what I mean? Because it's not the same crowd.
The typical Nintendo users buy remakes of Super Mario over and over again. I think they would. Maybe I don't know. Maybe there's not really like a cross between that consumer and somebody who buys a $500 console. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just speculating too.
I think the other part of it is like, I mean, Nintendo, as they have always been, is more of a family-oriented console, and I think that's why the Switch is sold so well, or a big part of why the Switch is sold so well is because it's for families. It's $300 or now down to like, I think it's still $300 for the base Switch, isn't it? And then $200 for the Lite, which is the handheld only one, which really doesn't matter.
That sounds right.
I've sold gangbusters though.
But yeah, I mean. The Lite is sold gangbusters, and it's a great if you're only like you said, Goose, where you're like, I only play Nintendo exclusives. If you just want a system to play your Nintendo exclusive on, the Lite's not a bad get for $200. I mean, shit.
No.
I mean that's as much as a Portal, and it's and you could natively play games on it as opposed to streaming them. You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to determine what they're gonna do. I mean, I know we're gonna find out in like literally
I just want to
less than 2
say,
weeks,
since you
but
brought it up, that I appreciate the Portal.
Have you been playing? Have you been playing Shadows on the Portal? Have you been playing on the TV?
I've actually been kicking the kids out of the living room so I can play it on the TV, which is normally
there you go.
What I do.
I think. Oh,
nice.
Look at Storm's got his.
I also appreciate the Portal. Thank you.
There's yours.
But
30th anniversary one.
It's fucking sweet, man. But anyway, go ahead. Back to the Switch too. I wanted to interrupt.
No, you're fine. No. By all means, man.
It's warranted, but in terms of what are my expectations for the Switch 2, these are my expectations. I want to know what's under the hood. I know that NVIDIA is working on it. I know it's going to be an NVIDIA chip in there.
Yep.
Bigger screen, I know that much.
Bigger screen. But speaking specifically to NVIDIA, their magic sauce is their DLSS suite when it comes to their GPUs. And I want to know whether or not they're going to have some sort of machine learning, upscaling, frame gen stuff. Some of that tech. Can you bake it into the Nintendo console? And if you
I
can't,
mean, I'm sorry to interrupt. My bad.
no, yeah. So those are my expectations. I want some of that NVIDIA secret sauce because I love Nintendo, but I don't want to play Zelda at 30 frames per second anymore.
No.
And when I output it to my TV on the Switch, I don't want a 720p base resolution upscale to 1080p. I don't want that anymore. I've had a 4K TV since 2016. That's not what I want. I want nice, crazy, crisp visuals. That's what I want.
Adding to what you're saying, I think it would almost be nonsensical of NVIDIA not to try to push something into that. I mean, you're following up one of the best-selling handhelds ever made, right? You're following this thing up. If you're just going to give them a watered-down version of a secondary handheld, people are going to get it. People are going to come out and go, look, hey, Nintendo made this. I like the Joy-Cons. I like X, Y, and Z. But Tears of the Kingdom still just looks like Tears of the Kingdom from the first one. Hold off until it goes on sale. What's the point of buying it if your 30 frames a second Tears of the Kingdom is 30 frames a second Tears of the Kingdom on the new one, and they look almost the same. I feel like if you're calling NVIDIA to make a chip for this, you want not necessarily to get into the power race, but you want to be like, hey, look, we're not just here
we're
to be pushed
competitive.
around. We're here to make a statement that we can still keep up. We just choose not to because our games speak for themselves.
Like, can you imagine like a 4K Zelda? Like, can you imagine a 4K 3D Mario game? Like, I want that. Like, I want that so bad, and I wish
Pokemon.
Nintendo or yes, a 4K Pokemon game. Like,
and I think additionally, if they were to step up,
I mean, yeah, it's been. I mean, Scarlet and Violet were decent, but I know they were really broken at launch.
Yeah.
So.
If Nintendo were to step their game up when it came to the hardware, I also think this would be a boon for third-party developers, because a lot of third-party developers, they put games on the Switch that ran frankly like ass, only because the sheer size of the install base. That was it. Kudos to Bethesda, who, man, I think they put out, Doom Eternal, the Wolfenstein games. Like, shout out to Bethesda for really making that hardware sing. And I like that they did that because, see, I think we're all privileged because we all own all these consoles. But there's a kid out there that all he owns is a Switch. So when I complain about playing Mortal Kombat 1 on Switch and it looks like shit because on PS5 Pro it looks great, or on PC it looks great, that kid is going to be like, screw you, guy. I only own a Switch. This is my only option.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this will be a boon for those developers.
I'm hoping that we're right on that fact. I hope that they swing hard. I hope that they surprise everybody and swing harder than everybody expects them to, and they put the DLSS and the ray tracing and everything into this, and all of a sudden they launch and they're like, hey, by the way, at launch, yeah, we're having Mario Kart 9 or whatever the new one is, and you can have this many people, and we're gonna have a Pokemon window. Oh, side note, Call of Duty's coming to Nintendo. Oh, side note, Assassin's Creed's coming to Nintendo.
Elden Ring.
Side note, we're bringing Elden Ring. Oh, hey, we just brought,
I don't know about GTA, but
but no, I don't necessarily know about But think about if they have that kind of announcement when they're like, hey, we're bringing our titles, but we're also bringing all these AAA titles. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming. Think about something like that where you can now have portable Baldur's Gate.
No,
which you might have on a portal, but
for something like that, I would pay $500 for.
Yeah.
Like, if you came out and told me that's what you're coming out with a Nintendo system that I can get my Zeldas, Pokemons, and Marios, and also have handheld versions of these games that I love on my other systems, then yeah, I could consider paying $500 for something like that.
Well,
but
yeah, Death Stranding can
going
run
back
on
to
my
that point,
phone.
I feel like.
Right.
Which is
exactly.
nuts. That's nuts. That's really nuts.
But going back to, I think the main chip part. If they've called Nvidia, they're not
half-assing it. I
yeah,
guess is the best way to
they're
put
not
it.
gonna try and tiptoe around it. They're either gonna go all in or not at all. And I'm really hoping it's the first one.
Mm.
Right.
What
So,
I want to say about Switch 2 here, real quick.
sure.
When you speculated 400, if it's $400, I'll buy one at launch. I'm not
Yeah.
planning on buying one at launch because I don't think it's going to be $400. I think it's going to be north of five, potentially. That said, what I'd like to see from this at launch is like a guarantee from Nintendo that at least the vast majority of their existing Switch games will run on the new one. And I think, have they stated already there's going to be backwards compatibility? Or
They have, yes.
Yes.
is it
Yeah.
limited
Yes.
to that?
So they basically said, Storm, from what I remember from the initial video that they did of it and the initial press release they did, was that yes, like 99% of Switch games will run on the Switch 2. The ones that don't, from what I've heard, it's like the stuff of like Nintendo Labo and like the stuff that needs like weird peripherals and stuff like that probably
Okay.
wouldn't work on the Switch
Well,
2.
Then that's one wish list item crossed off for me. The other thing, though, that I would like to see more than anything else is for them to actually utilize the space that the dock provides to do something interesting. Like, we've had graphics cards we can attach to PCs by USB-C for a long time now.
Yep.
I'd like to see them try and integrate that technology because, like, you're talking about outputting to a 4K TV in a way that actually makes sense and not 720p upscaled until, it fits 1080.
Mhm.
I would like to see them actually utilize the real estate that the dock provides to do that in a meaningful way. You don't have to put the most powerful graphics processing chip in your handheld if you're just broadcasting the signal to a handheld screen, and you've got a physical item already that exists that you can put that processing power into. I want to see that.
Rumble Pack 5.0. Let's do it.
Kind of like that, yeah.
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 But I mean, we'll find out here soon enough. I am personally very excited for the Switch 2.
So am I.
I really want to know. I want to know, what do you think date wise? Like, so we're getting the full fledged reveal in April, the big first day almost of April. When do you think? What do you think a probable launch window is before we move on to the
October.
last subject? I think October.
I think October. I think they let. I mean, I understand, but I think GTA comes out, and I think they drop it in October, give it a month or two, because if you drop it beginning of October, some people are going to buy it day one, but also then you put it on every kid's Christmas list.
Yeah.
I
mean,
I'm gonna take a weird stab here. I'm gonna say August.
I was gonna say
I
September.
just because yeah, I'm thinking August simply because if they released it in August, they still wouldn't have a lot of competition in terms of releases. You're still in that summer doldrums when not a lot of stuff gets released in the summertime. Although there's bigger stuff this year due to GTA coming out in the fall, assumedly coming out in the fall. But I could see like August being a really good window for them to kind of spread their wings and put out some put out Mario Kart, put out that's why I'm saying like Pokemon might not be launch window, because I don't see Pokemon coming out in August, but I could see Pokemon coming out in like October, give it a couple of months, and then of the console being out, and then release, hey, here's a new Pokemon game just in time for Christmas kind of thing.
I think that would also be a fair after hearing it. Yeah, that makes sense. I just thought October, because then if you drop it that close to, if you drop it a month away from Black Friday Black Friday month deals, because it's not just Black Friday anymore, they run weekly everywhere. You instantaneously, if it drops in October, every kid who has a Switch, or every kid who wants, that you get the one big Christmas item, it's going to go to the top of the list. So you're gonna automatically jump your numbers, because every kid's going to go, hey mom, this came out, I want the Switch for Christmas.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I can see like it coming out in October, you still have enough time to work out any supply issues and stuff like that, because I mean that is a real issue now, nowadays with
I want
everything.
I want to speak to that real quick. I'm of the belief that Nintendo is manufacturing them right now as we speak and have
Yep.
been for months now. I think
yeah.
that the specs
Yeah.
have been locked for a long time now. I think they're trying to avoid exactly what you just mentioned, Jeff, which is that supply constraint, which we saw happen with the Xbox Series X and PS5 at the beginning of this generation.
Mhm.
And I hope and pray that that's not going to be a problem for Nintendo. I think
that
that
was
they're
a headache.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think they're going to avoid that. I really think I'll make a crazy prediction. I think by the end of the year, whenever this drops, it'll sell 15 million plus because they'll have the supply to sell.
I
can
agree.
see it. I could wholeheartedly see that.
I think they've already been making and strategically setting them up to when they want to release it. So that way, when they say, hey, this is shipping out in August, this is shipping out in September, and they're like, okay, cool, these stores get these numbers, X numbers, go. And then they see how that sells, and then they just keep, because obviously some stores are going to sell better than other stores. So
I
if
mean,
you're
yeah,
in that big
that's what
area,
happened with the PS5s and Xbox Series. Like when I worked at GameStop, when those were, basically I was talking to the manager, and the manager was like, "Yeah, we got literally an email that says, okay, you have 10 Xboxes and 5 PlayStations. Okay,
That's wild.
get them pre-ordered, and then, and you think like that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't seem like that's nothing. It's that's barely any consoles for
you sold, because we live in the same area, obviously.
Right.
Those 10 and 5, I think I called about the Series X not 2 hours into launch of it saying it was, be able to be pre-ordered, and they were gone.
Yeah. I mean, it was, yeah. It's gonna be interesting, but I agree with your prediction, Goose. I think they've been manufacturing these for a while now, and they're trying to avoid that supply constraint. And I hope that is the case, because I don't want to see, even if not all of us are buying it at launch or whatever, however it plans out, the people that want them, I want them to be able to get one. It was a nightmare. It was like I was lucky. I was one of the
So
lucky
was I.
ones. I got a PlayStation 5 right off the rip, but it was tough to see the people that did want the consoles to just be like, okay, hey guys, there's 5 of them that's going to be at this place in Sandusky. We gotta go. Like it's.
Can I just say that I've spoken about it before, but I hated that stupid queue for PlayStation. I got mine's off of Walmart finally about a month after it launched, so I was lucky too. But those 4 weeks were just hell, man. At the time, she wasn't my wife, but my girlfriend. Now my wife. She would we would have different computers, like a computer on the phone, trying to get one, and it was just such
as
a
bad as the
pain.
30th anniversary stuff when we all tried to get it.
I'm still
I've
fucking
had-
pissed about that.
I've had
Yeah.
tremendously bad luck with pre-orders of consoles of all kinds, and it started with Xbox Series X. I tried to pre-order that and obviously failed, and I ended up buying a nitro coffee maker instead with that money because I couldn't get it and had to wait a while.
That's fair.
See, I got lucky, and I had other friends that worked at GameStop, and I had pre-ordered a game for my PS4 at the time, and I got a call and it says, "Hey, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but pre-orders for our second round of PS5s just dropped. I see you have $50 on Spider-Man. Do you want me to switch it over to a PS5?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely. Do that now."
Yeah, 100%.
Yep. But so last thing is a game that got a release date and a big trailer, and something that I think is, at least personally, in my top 3 for 2025, if not number 1. Even over Grand Theft Auto. I know, Dalton, it's your number 1, but Death Stranding 2 got its release date June 26th for the standard version. If you pre-order the digital deluxe or the collectors, it is June 24th.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I was kind of surprised that it was summertime, but like for a game like that is literally the perfect time to release something like that, especially because June/July is usually pretty barren, so that'll give everybody that wants to play this game plenty of time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um,
Except for
So-
the
I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick.
Mm.
What's Death Stranding?
Play it. I don't.
It's UPS the game.
Yeah.
It's UPS
Is that-
the game.
Is that the walking
UPS.
simulator?
It's the walking. It's the
It's-
Kojima, the Metal
Mhm.
Gear developer. His narrative walking simulator game. I guess.
It's
the best
a
Is that-
true walking simulator, like in every
Is
sense
that-
of the word.
Is that the Norman Reedus and the fetus?
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Which honestly, Evan, it is on Xbox now, so theoretically you could play it. I don't know if it doesn't seem like your type of game, but you could play it, and we recommend that you play it because all of us love that game. Hence
Do things
Storm's
explode?
hat that he's wearing.
Things explode.
Yeah,
Do
eventually,
things explode?
You know what? I'll try to sell it to you like this. There is a blood grenade that you can throw at an enemy. And once that grenade bursts, there'll be particles of blood in the air. It doesn't affect the enemy just yet. And then you take a gun and you shoot through that mist, and only then is the enemy hurt.
It's fucking.
That's like the
That's-
only way that I
that's-
can.
Yeah, it is so fucking cool.
Maybe
Okay,
I did a really
yeah.
bad job at pitching it, but that's just like it's.
That sounds pretty awesome. Actually, that sounds like oh hey by
It's-
the way.
It's a slow burn, but once it gets going, it is an unforgettable game.
Yeah, I remember when
Okay.
when that game came out, I literally I was bitching in our Discord. Like I was like, I'm not finishing this game. This fucking game sucks. It was like the first like 2
You did.
chapters or whatever. And now, dude, that's literally I kept going, and it's literally one of my favorite games of all time. Like
So the first 2 chapters are awful. After that, it gets
they're
better.
not
It does.
awful, but the gameplay there's not a lot going on. So it's like
It's very
first 2
slow. It's a
chapters-
slow burn.
yeah. The first 2 chapters are
It's-
definitely where it gets that walking simulator fucking reputation from. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I mean it is like Jeff said, it's a slow burn. It takes a while to get started, but once it does, dude, it's one of especially from like a narrative standpoint, dude. It's one of my favorite pieces of fucking storytelling in pretty much any form of media, besides maybe like
Yeah,
The
'cause-
Last of Us 2 or whatever like that. But
I did start a playthrough again because I wanted to play through it again before too. And yeah, I'm literally about 2/3 of the way through the second chapter, and I'm feeling that feeling again of like, all right, I know it gets better. Like I finished it, so I know I can get through it. But it's like, man, hey, you got all the way over here. Now you got to go all the way back. Oh, by the way, you also have to go all the way back again. It's like, okay, once I get to that point, it really opens up, and you can just go. But
That's the thing, Evan. If that's not fun for you, see, that's the fun for me. Like being told, "Hey, you're gonna go through this great scenic route again," right? Some people will see that as a chore, like, "Ugh, I got to do this again." It's not a chore for me. It's like, "Oh yes, I'm gonna do this again. It's great." So it just depends on your play style. Another way that I'll try to pitch it to you, there is something called time fall. It is a rain that once it touches your skin, you automatically start to age rapidly, fast, to the point that if you stay out long enough, you will decay until you die.
and then when you die, you explode
Yes.
Ooh,
to a
that's
giant
right.
crater.
So you asked about explosions. I should have led with that. So
there you go.
anybody who dies literally is like a nuclear bomb. They leave this massive crater. Yeah, no, you gotta play it, man.
Okay.
It's-
I
it's-
Like
might,
I said,
good.
it is on Xbox, so it's something that you definitely should check out. They put it on sale every once in a while for like $10-20. So it's
I definitely sounds like I need to try it. I do have another game that comes before it. One of the guys at work, because he told me, he goes, "You bounce your head off the wall at Monster Hunter, and you've never played Elden Ring?" I said no,
Elden Ring's
and
fun.
so
You'll like that.
he texted me yesterday. He goes, "You should open up Steam," and I said, "Why is that?" He goes, "Because you should open up Steam." And so he bought me Elden Ring.
That's a good friend.
Yeah.
definitely. But
Or maybe he actually wants you to be in a lot of pain and suffer.
Potentially both.
yeah, but you can
He's a work friend, so potentially both.
You can mod on PC though, so you technically don't have to die to play Elden Ring. Just saying. Not that I know anybody that's done that or anything.
No,
No.
nobody. Not staring directly at you, Joe.
Nope. I don't know what you're talking about. But no, back to Death Stranding 2. I am beyond excited for it. And even just like the trailer that they released to announce the release date was probably one of the coolest trailer I've ever seen. One of the best I've ever seen, honestly. I mean, what are you like?
I saw the trailer when the stream was live. I haven't seen it since. See, so the last trailer I saw it like 4 or 5 times because I was just so pumped. But I'm sold on it. I don't want to watch anything about it anymore. I'm just like, just feed it to me. That's it. I don't need to know anything more about it.
That's why people like with sorry to bring it up again, but like GTA 6, it's like, you know, everybody's like, oh man, when are they gonna show the next GTA 6 trailer? I'm like, you're gonna fucking buy it. It's Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, you don't need to be sold on what Grand Theft Auto 6 is. You know what it is. Like,
and
just give me a release date.
Take-Two and Rockstar are very like, they're very wary of like leaks and shit like that, so they're gonna play it close to the chest for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto. Cheat codes, unlimited ammo, see how many stars you can get as quickly as possible.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But
oh, there's a story too.
yeah. But yeah, honestly, Evan, I really do recommend playing Death Stranding before 2 comes out. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna be able to get to it, but
also play Death Stranding.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Like
so that's
like
2 games have been suggested.
Yeah, so like used to say when he used to tell everybody to play Tacoma.
Oh.
Play Death Stranding.
That's a deep cut, man. That's a deep cut.
I got you. I remember you almost ended every show with play Tacoma.
Oh, wow.
Anybody want to add anything else on Death Stranding 2 other than we're all really fucking excited for it?
No, that's
I mean, I think I'm more excited for it than I was for Alan Wake 2, and Alan Wake 2 was the most exciting announcement that I can remember of any game.
So
me.
good.
That game was great. I loved it.
That game was so good. I'm glad you loved it, Dalton, because I know that you had played it. It was up until a couple months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's this year sometime.
It was this year sometime. I knew that, but yeah, I'm very excited for Death Stranding too. But honestly, between that and Doom, I think those are my 2 next big, like the 2 games I'm like wholeheartedly like day one excited for.
Absolutely.
Borderlands.
Borderlands also, but I'm saying like within the next couple of months, definitely
okay,
Doom and Death Stranding.
I'm excited for Doom and being able to throw my shield at people's faces.
It's gonna be Doom Dark Age looks amazing. So
it does.
So, well, it's been about 2 hours, gentlemen. Anything you'd like to add before I wrap this whole thing up?
He's fat.
Nope, that's it, man.
Well played. Well played.
Maybe we'll squeeze in another one before the end of the year.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean,
for sure.
I would like to do one. Honestly, once we kind of know when GTA is coming out, we know stuff about the Switch 2. I'd like to maybe like end of summer type deal. Try to get around to doing another one of these.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys are cool with it, I'd like to come back for it.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yep, definitely. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you all soon here on the AEG show.